We talk a great deal in scouting and how important it is to us, and it is indeed important because it's the lifeblood of our organization. Without members, both youth and we wouldn't exist. And the certificates that I'm about to present represent awards and recognition of the veteran units that have been providing our services to the membership for a very long time. We had to tell a joke, that's how good I am. Without further ado, the first one is for Pack 5, at Sacred Heart Roman Catholic Church. 25 years. If someone would come forward and receive these, I read them. I know, well, I'm not even trying. Think what I can do if I try. Next one. Perhaps you can hold your applause until the end so we can keep this moving. Act 100, Our Lady of Grace Roman Catholic Church, 29 years. Back 18, Immaculate Conception Roman Catholic Church, 29 years also. Back 50, St. Anne's Roman Catholic Church, 30 years. Back 474, St. George Roman Catholic Church, 35 years. Back 11, Mount Carmel Roman Catholic Church, 35 years. Back 24, St. Joseph's Roman Catholic Church, 40 years. Getting up there now. Back 10, St. Paul's United Methodist Church, 40 years also. Back 32, Veterans of Foreign Wars, 41 years. Troop 39, St. Patrick's Roman Catholic Church, 40 years. Troop 16, St. Louis de France Roman Catholic Church, 42 years. You can come up if you want, Jerry. I don't want to insult you. Troop 26, Knights of Columbus, 44 years. I'm probably the only one here. Back 8, Faireth Israel Synagogue, 45 years. Troop 5, Sacred Heart Roman Catholic Church, 48 years. Pack 15, Notre Dame Roman Catholic Church, 50 years. Troop 24, St. Joseph's Roman Catholic Church, 53 years. Troop 24, Church of the Ascension, 53 years. Troop 50, St. Anne's Roman Catholic Church, 54 years. Troop 15, Notre Dame Roman Catholic Church, 54 years. Troop 32, group of citizens, 68 years. Must be a good group. Troop 11, Mount Carmel Roman Catholic Church, 54 years. Troop 18, Immaculate Conception Roman Catholic Church, 74 years. A long time. Thanks, man, for your help. Have a round of applause for all those units.
Thank you, Al. At this point in time, we move along to the council awards, and I'd like to ask Tony Mabriga, who is our advancement chairperson for the council, to please come forward and present his award.
All right, Bill. As you well know, he went down with a twisted knee, left us in the lurch for camp, but I have to tell you that a number of people came together, George Boucher, Everett, Darrell, and far too many to mention, and said, Don, don't worry, we'll cover camp. Little did we know that it would go until October 1st, until we would have a new ranger on board. I don't think camp and the service of camp to the units skipped a beat. At that point in time, in October, or actually before that time, we put together a search committee, and believe me, there were any number of outstanding candidates that we had to review to have a new camp ranger. What we did have to do, however, was to go across the line, go into Camp Norse, and we did find Rai Smale, who has been a ranger there for 6 years, grew up under the leadership of Bill and Ruth Joyce in Troop 35 in Onset, later in Troop 55, and we're delighted to have on board with us Ray, and unfortunately his wife could not be here tonight, Gail Smale, and their son. But Ray, would you stand up please and take a bow? Continuing on with Camp Cachalot, we had 2 work weekends, lots of good projects. In the spring, I believe we had a record crowd of some 72 people who helped do a lot of things at camp. We're getting the Phillips house back on track and a lot of things that are happening that haven't happened in the past. We had another excellent season at summer camp. Dave Goldrick as the camp director. Attendance was up, an outstanding program. Day camp as well. We compacted our efforts into 3 weeks this past year and discovered that, quite frankly, if we can't do it, we've got to go back to 4 weeks because of the bursting of the seams. So in 1992, we'll be having 4 weeks of day camp instead of 3. We instituted a new program this year called Take Stock in Cachalot, which quite frankly is going to be troops and packs who want to take a portion of camp and call it their own, if you will, and work on various projects. And George Boucher is the leader of that charge. We now have and will have in place a Camp Master Corps of dedicated volunteers who will spend weekends in camp assisting the ranger. That is new in this past year. I'm delighted to say, even though I found out just a little while ago that I'm now on the 3rd floor, that the council office is taking on a change so recently that the wall behind my desk is no longer there. I'm no longer in the office. Everett's in Fall River for good. We're all in all seriousness, again, the camping committee had a lot to do with it. We've been talking about doing some things at camp. I was away for a couple of days and I came back, and lo and behold, the little conference room downstairs was beginning to be painted. And the rest is history. It's really coming along nicely. So what I'd like to do now is have everybody and anybody that's associated with the camping committee, would you please stand up and take a bow? Camping committee members, please. OA, stand up. Just stand up. Sure, stand up. Back activities under the leadership of Vic Silva and his team. Klondike Derby at Buttonwoods, we got it back out in the public. I think we're going back to Cachalot this year, but that's okay. The Scout Show and Pinewood Derby at Bishop Connolly. Council Olympic Camporee at Cachalot. Cabaret at Cachalot. Numerous other district activities. And last weekend, I'm delighted to tell you, if you haven't heard it already, that about 2,000 scouts and adult leaders collected 15.9 tons of food for the needy. You deserve a round of applause for that. Great to stand up and take that. In the area of advancement, constantly working with boys and the units to try to increase our advancement numbers. Some of the advancements a little bit down this year, but one is up, and that's our ranks of Eagle Scouts. I think we have 4 more now than we had at this time last year. So I know they were just up here before, but with Tony and the advancement team, stand up and take a bow. Tony and a break, where are you? We also, in 1991, began our National Eagle Scout Association chapter. It had a recognition dinner this past January. The hopes are that in the future we will combine this event with the Anawan Council, perhaps, and the State Council. We have a new health and safety chairman on board. We're doing a lot of good things, I hope, in the area of liability and risk management, which becomes an increasing problem in today's society. And we're looking more and more on how to have a healthy program for our kids. We have a new exploring chairman in Maureen Armstrong, who's developed a committee, a survey in our high school to find out what our kids want to do, what they want to prepare themselves for in the future, and we'll be hopefully having an explosion in an exploring program in 1992. We have a committee that deals with exceptional children. We call it Challenge Scouting, for kids who might not have the advantages that most kids have. I don't think Lou's here. I think Lou has to leave. Lou leave? Lou Ozzie? Our field membership, we've already heard some numbers. We again had our second year of membership growth last year, and we're continuing on that track this year. And we've got our fingers crossed and hope that by the end of 1991 we'll have another year of membership gain in this council. We continue to meet the challenge of organizing and reorganizing units. It isn't easy in this day and age. I can tell you that the Wamsutta district was recognized as one of the leading districts in the New England area at a banquet in February for new unit growth. When anybody who's in the Wamsutta district, stand up and take a bow. That's an outstanding record. Wamsutta district folks, if you stand up please and take a bow. Lastly, on September the 26th, we had a school night to join scouting, which most of you were involved in, and I can tell you, if you haven't heard, that 750 new boys joined the scouting program, mostly in Cub Scouts, as a result of this one-night stand. And our new chairman, Dan Betancourt, isn't here tonight, but our old membership chairman is, and that's Bob Michaud. Would you stand up and take a bow, and anybody else on the membership team? Commissioner service. We have the Alan Eric Show, and they're doing a heck of a job. And all those of you who are involved in the commissioner team in helping units to succeed. This year, for the first time, I can tell you that we had a Tri-Council Commissioner Conference at Mass Maritime Academy with, I think, 50-some people in attendance, and we hope to do that again. Alan Eric, would you stand up and take a bow? Always got to talk about money. The Scout Executive stands up here, and in today's economy, it's continually tougher and tougher to raise the buck. SME was down this year, but some other things have happened. We had a golf tournament for the first time. We initially thought we might clear about 3,000. We wound up clearing about 9,000. It was a tremendous, fun time, and I have to tell you, I don't think it involved many of you. It involved people from other parts of the area who aren't involved in scouting, but know that there's a place for it in their heart. And so I would like, although they're all not here, Jim Jackson's here, and Joe Kestenbaum had to leave, but Jim was a member of the golf committee. Jim, would you stand up and take a bow, please? The other thing we had and are having, those of you who did it are going to pick it up on Saturday if you haven't done it already, and that was the first annual popcorn sale. And if you hadn't heard it already, it's the Girl Scout cookie at Moby Dick Council. Unbelievable. I think you have to agree that, again, in this economy, this is amazing. We gross now, about $60,000 in popcorn sales. The total net dollars to the units that sold is going to be about $20,000. The council is going to probably net out about 16 or 17 after prizes and so on. We budgeted about 10. So again, it was amazing. I thank all of you. We hope it's going to be bigger and better next year. I think did Lenny leave? Lenny Kaplan left. Lenny Kaplan left, but I know there's another district colonel here, Chuck Tebow. Chuck, would you stand up and take a bow, please? Chuck has done an awful lot of work with the popcorn sale. We voted to redistrict the council. And beginning in January of 1992, we hope we'll give you even better service through 2 districts and a program director, who is Dave Roberts. And Dave, why don't you stand up and take it back? Sometimes these folks are seen as some people that are out there somewhere we don't know too much about them. Many of them are here tonight, and I'm delighted to see that. So anybody who's on the executive board, would you please stand up? Executive Board of the Moby Dick Council. How about it? State of the council, quite frankly, isn't a possibility. I know there's all of you out there, and you're the ones who made it happen. But there's also another integral part of those who made it happen, and that's certainly the professional staff. Everett Gravio, would you stand up, please, and take a bow? Everett, Massachusetts. Ron Fortenmarsh, who's in Wamsutta, and also the advisor to the night's dinner. Ron. Dave Roberts, you already met. Now, it wouldn't be this evening if I didn't do something else like I usually do. And there's some other folks here that I'd like to recognize as well. And that's the office support staff. Unfortunately, Mickey, our registrar, couldn't be here tonight. But if Glenda Mortensen, the cake lady, if you come forward, Madeline Reed, receptionist, if you please come forward. I'd like to do something a little bit different tonight as well. Thomasina Roberts, would you join him, please? Paulette. What are you hiding over there? And obviously calling the spouses, because quite frankly, as you all know, with the time schedules and so on, that you're only as good as your spouse is, and quite frankly, they let us do our thing. So if I may beg your indulgence, Ellie, would you join us, please? And as always, although we can't drink them, these buds are for you.
And we'll take one, Ray. I didn't call you up here. Can you take one back to Gail? Oh, I think so. Thank you. How about?
Lastly, but certainly not leastly, I'd like to thank you, because you are the state of the council. You are a vibrant, energetic, loyal group of scouting volunteers who are making the future brighter because of your untiring work with youth in a very demanding, challenging society. My personal thanks and Scouts. Thank you.
About drugs and educating our youth about the problems that are experienced by people who use drugs. He has creatively combined his interest in drug education, prevention, and sports through the Bristol Alliance, which is an organization in which Mr. Walsh and other individuals, including Ernie DiGregorio of Providence College fame and later NBA fame, get together, play pickup basketball games against other organizations, and then get to meet after the games with youth in this area and talk to them in a setting that they're comfortable with about drug prevention and drug education. And at this point, it's my pleasure to formally introduce our guest speaker, District Attorney Paul Walsh.
Let me just make a few preliminary remarks or observations, if I may, after enjoying a very nice dinner and seeing some of the awards that were given out here this evening. As an after-dinner speaker, I think it is very important to be brief. I made note of this several months ago when I was sworn in, and looking back on inaugural speeches, I noticed that the longest inaugural address given by a President of the United States was given by President Tyler, I believe the 8th or 9th President of the United States, who gave a speech for 2.5 hours in the pouring rain, contracted pneumonia, died 3 months later. Suffice to say, I'll be brief. I think this council is in serious trouble. I look and I see Attorney Eric Jakes as the Master of Ceremonies. I see Attorney Stafford Sheehan as one of the guest speakers here this evening. I see Attorney John Letourneau on the executive board. Don't you people realize what you're in for with all of these lawyers around here? There is only one thing worse than having these 3 lawyers associated with your council. It's having 4 lawyers associated. And on top of all of that, you pick a lawyer to be your guest speaker. Come on, you can do better than that. You know, they say about lawyers, if you get 4 of them talking on one subject, you get 5 different opinions. And all of them wrong. So I think in the future you ought to be more careful about who you're choosing. I do want to thank Stafford for his commercial that he gave me earlier this evening. It's not going to work. It has been said that flattery will get you everywhere, but not in this case, Stafford, but good try. I also like to mention the fact that earlier this evening, Phil Lynch was not recognized, and but for the ladies here at this table, they got him recognized. He might have been overlooked. I was at a, I don't know whether it was a Rotary Club or some function in which there was, and probably due to the fact that I was newly elected, they overlooked the district attorney and I didn't get announced. The Master of Ceremonies is doing 3 to 5 at Walpole right now. So do be careful about these things in the future, okay? One other thing I noticed this evening was that when Mr. Reinhardt was asking the camping committee to stand up and take a bow, it seemed that the individuals were reluctant to take some credit. Well, you guys haven't been around politics very long. Some of the things I go to, the politicians are jumping out of their seats taking credit for everything that they've done, whether they've done it or not. So camping committee, get on the stick, take credit for the good work that you do. Pat yourselves on the back. I wanted to mention that the state of the council, if I'm ever invited back to speak to this group, I hope you refrain from words such as redistricting. It sends shivers down the spine of any person that has to run for office. You threw me there. I also would like to announce tonight that having heard some of the good work that's done by your Finance Committee, the golf tournament going from a $3,000 estimate to making $9,000, the $60,000 gross that you're going to do for popcorn, that Don Reinhardt has agreed to become the chairman of the Finance Committee for the re-elect Paul Walsh Committee. they didn't realize that. And boy, are we going to flood Bristol County with popcorn. I'm going to have to make some amends like that because I lost a lot of votes in Fall River, having been identified as the district attorney of New Bedford. That's really going to help me in the northern part of this district. And one final observation I'd like to make, I don't know whether I should agree, disagree, or take no position on it, but being a bachelor, kind of take umbrage at the fact that you're only as good as your spouse. And I don't know who said that, but it had to be a married man.
Whose idea was this?
Well, I told you I would be brief. And let me just be serious for a moment. I really believe in scouting. As your district attorney, it is my job and my function to go to court every day to prosecute crimes. Attorney John Letourneau works in my office. He's currently on trial prosecuting a homicide case. We see more crimes than he can shake a stick at every day in the Bedford District Court, Fall River, Taunton, Attleboro, and the Superior Courts. And 75 to 85 or even higher percent of the crimes that we see are caused by drug and alcohol abuse. We in the criminal justice system classify types of crimes into three sections: property crimes, crimes of violence, and drug crimes. Every single one of those, in all those classifications, to my mind, are substance abuse related. Take a property crime, for instance. Someone steals your wallet, someone steals your car, someone breaks into your house to steal your jewelry, to steal your china. They don't do it because they like Limoges. They don't do it because they like your silverware. They're doing it to turn that property into cash so that they can go out and buy drugs. So those crimes are drug related. When they steal your car, it's not because they like a Mercedes or a Chevrolet. They're going to strip and sell the parts and get money and buy drugs and use the drugs and go out and do it again. Those are property crimes. They're not classified as drug crimes, but believe you me, they're drug crimes. Crimes of violence, rape, spousal abuse, crimes against your girlfriend, your grandmother, the crimes that we see, child sexual abuse. If you look into the background of any one of those crimes, you're going to see an individual with a drug or an alcohol problem, or an individual that just prior to the commission of the crime had ingested drugs or alcohol, or during the commission of the crime was under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Those crimes of violence are drug related, make no mistake about it. And finally, you get the third classification, drug crimes. Somewhere right now in Bristol County, there is someone buying, selling, possessing, using, or getting high on drugs, right this minute. I believe that scouting is very important for this reason, because that individual that is out there buying or selling or using or possessing drugs is probably going to be arrested sometime soon in the next 15 or 20 minutes. I want you to take a look at what happens when an individual gets arrested. You're the former treasurer for the Red Cross. Can you keep score for me there? Probably right now, an individual is getting arrested. Two police officers making $35,000 to $40,000 a year are called to the scene. They make the arrest. They bring this individual, say to New Bedford or Fall River District Court tomorrow morning, where that individual is arraigned in front of a clerk magistrate. $50,000 to $60,000 a year is what he's paid out of our tax dollars. The case is assigned to an assistant district attorney, paid $35,000 to $45,000 a year. In all likelihood, that individual is going to get a court-appointed lawyer. Again, paid $500 to $1,000 per case. If the case comes to trial soon, it's heard by a judge in the district court who makes $80,000 a year. If we're lucky and we obtain a conviction on the case, the individual is put on suspended sentence or on probation. He'll be assigned a probation officer, paid approximately $45,000 a year. If, in the rare circumstance that the conviction results in incarceration, it costs us, right now here in Bristol County, $30,000 a year to keep an individual behind bars for 1 year. What's our grand total, Mr. Treasurer? $300,000 is what we're paying for what's happening right now. And this happens over and over and over again. We have a backlog of 2,000 cases in the Fall River jury of 6. We have a backlog of almost 500 cases in the Superior Court. These are your tax dollars that you're paying for because an individual's got a drug problem. Add to that, now I don't know how many of you, when you drove here tonight, fixed your burglar alarm or your crook lock or whatever it was that you did on your car. Or when you paid your insurance for your car, that included in that was the cost of anti-theft. Or that when you left home tonight, you had to fix the burglar alarm that you paid good money for, your after-tax dollars. I don't know how many of you have any occasion to be in the medical services or associated with hospitals, but if you go into the hospital on any Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, you're going to see people overdosing in the emergency room, and the amount of money that we spend on medical services for those individuals is staggering. And who pays for that? We pay for that. Take a look at all of that we're paying for when it comes to the incarceration, the prosecution, the apprehension, and the cost of crime in Bristol County. I know I sound like my grandmother, but this is why I think scouting is so important. Because when it comes to drugs and it comes to crime, an ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure. We in the United States of America represent 10% of the world's population. We in the United States of America consume 60% of the world's illegal drugs. In the last 4 years, drug and drug-related crime among juveniles has risen 353%. Juveniles involved with drugs and drug-related crime. 14, 15, 16-year-old boys and girls. What we're doing right now, by filling up our prisons and clogging our court systems, and I know it's not probably the thing that a district attorney is supposed to say, but what we're doing right now isn't working. We've got to put more money into scouting. We've got to put more money into boys clubs. We've got to put more money into school systems. We've got to put more money into basketballs and dances and plays. And we've got to get to the problem before we have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on the other end. I'm a trial lawyer. I go to court every day. I like my work. I like to think that we're very, very good at the job that we do. But I don't want to have to send your sons and your daughters to prison. I don't want to have to send your campers, your scouts, and your Cub Scouts to probation and to suspended sentences. I would prefer not to do that. We've got to spend more money on scouting. You probably don't realize it. You probably don't see it from this perspective. You are the best crime fighters, not me. I'm closing the barn door after the cow's gone. You're the ones that I have to rely on to reduce this problem. Because let me tell you, I'm as good a prosecutor as you're going to find, and I can fill up the jails, and I can prosecute cases till I'm blue in the face. But unless we get to kids at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, unless we get them out scouting with a tent, or get them out playing basketball, or getting them to do something constructive, I'm going to end up with a problem later on. And thank you very much, but I've got plenty of cases. I don't need any more work. I think that we in America are somewhat short-sighted with the way we spend our money, with the way we spend our tax dollars, and certainly when it comes to charity. We've got to put more money into popcorn and scouting than we do into prisons and prosecutions. That's why you're so very, very important. What you do can be fun, it can be rewarding. You see it as helping young kids and forming good lives. And I know I sound a little bit, frequently I think I'm preaching to the converted, but I want to stress to you the importance of what you do. It isn't just scouting. It isn't just having fun and getting kids out in the sunshine and camping and things like that. You are the best crime fighters going. If you can save a kid at age 10, at age 11, if you can turn him from becoming a juvenile delinquent, from getting involved in drugs, developing an alcohol problem, then believe you me, 5, 6, 7, 8 years down the road, he's not going to end up in front of a judge, in front of a jury, with me standing next to him, having to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on his rehabilitation or his incarceration. Consider well what you do. It is so very, very critically important what you do that I consider it an honor and a privilege to come here and talk to you, because I really mean this. I don't want to have to send these kids to jail. It breaks my heart when I see a good kid gone bad, and I'm in juvenile court, and I take a look and I can say, you can write that kid off, he's already gone, and it's too bad. We've got to start with kids, we've got to get them while they're young. We're penny wise and pound foolish if we do it the other way around. So, consider well what you do. I applaud you all for the efforts you put in, because most of you aren't getting paid for this. You're putting in long hours. You dragoon people into, what, the 2 meetings a year or so, and then drag them in for 19 or 20. But that is so good. You're doing this on your own, and it is so very, very valuable, because you're the solution. You're the answer. If you expect the district attorney to do it, I'm going to fail. And being somewhat proud, I don't care to fail at this job. I need your help. The police can't do it by themselves. I can't do it by myself. We need you to get involved with the young kids. And from what I can see this evening, from what I read on the program this evening, that you've all pitched in, you've done your fair share. So it's not very fair of me to ask you this, but I'm going to anyway. Lawyers can, particularly when you're the district attorney, you can ask anybody anything. Try to do a little bit more next year than we did this year. I don't believe that we're going to save the world. I don't think we'll eradicate all the drugs from the streets. I don't think we'll wipe out crime. But if you can do a little bit more next year than we did this year, if you can save a couple more kids from getting involved in alcohol and drugs next year than we did this year, then believe me, it's going to make my job better. It's going to make Bristol County a safer place to live. And you're going to be very, very proud of the jobs that you do. I congratulate and commend you all. And if you would ever invite me back, get rid of all of these lawyers around here. Thank you all very much. You've all done a great job.
We'll now have a moment of silence for deceased Silver Beavers. Thank you. Silver Beaver National Court of Honor now is in session. The Silver Beaver is awarded by the Moby Dick Council with the approval of the National Court of Honor. The award is for noteworthy service of an exceptional character to youth by registered adult volunteers within the territory administered by the Moby Dick Council. This service must be above and beyond the normal performance of a scouter in his or her registered position. Selections are made based on service to scouting and to the community at large. Tenure is considered but is not the determining factor. Selections are by a volunteer committee based on recommendations submitted to it. I'll now ask George Boucher to read the first citation.
For 36 years, you have served the youth and units of your district, council, and community in a variety of positions. You began your scouting career in 1957 as a PAC committee member and have held the positions of post advisor, troop committee member, and a distinguished career as an assistant scoutmaster. You have served on winter survival training staffs, camporee committees, roundtable committees, restoration committees, district committees, and the Moby Dick Council Activities Committee. You are a member of the DMAT Lodge Order of the Arrow. You have served long and actively with the Catholic Committee on Scouting. You have been recognized by your district and council with the Training Award, Pelican Award, St. George Award, and the District Award of Merit. You have served your church as an usher, a member of the Holy Name Society, Holy Ghost Society, gathered charities appeal, and a member of the 75th Jubilee campaign. You have assisted in numerous church bazaars and as a member of the Santo Cristo Holy Ghost Feast Committee. Within the community, you have served as a volunteer at the Boys Club in Bedford, a fundraiser for the Heart Fund and Muscular Dystrophy Fund, and as a member of the Portuguese American Civil League in Bedford and the Scholarship for Youth program. Because of your significant contributions to Scouting and your community, the Moby Dick Council is proud to present the Silver Beaver Award to Laurence Larry Silva.
Conrad Russo will now read the second nominee. For more than 45 years, you have served the units and youth of your district and council, providing guidance and support while serving in a variety of scouting positions. You've been a Wiggler's leader, an Order of the Arrow advisor. You've served as Scoutmaster for over 20 years and are now serving as Charter Organization Representative for the same unit for the past 17 years. You've staffed council and district camporee and training events. You've been a member of the Camp Restoration Committee. You've earned your wood badge beads and have been awarded both with the Bronze Pelican and the St. George Award by the Catholic Committee on Scouting, a committee which you have served for over 30 years. You've served as a Scoutmaster to the National Jamboree and as a Scoutmaster for a 3-council contingent to Philmont Scout Ranch, New Mexico. Among your community commitments, you have been a Red Cross volunteer, an Ambulance Corps volunteer. Because of your significant contributions to Scouting in your community, the Moby Dick Council is proud to present the Silver Beaver Award to Norman Chartier. We'd like to announce Will Brenda Pomfret please read the third citation?
Your impact over the years on the Scout of your district and council has been significant. You have served as a unit committee member, repo leader, assistant cub master, and cub master. At the district level, you have staffed roundtables, training courses, and have been a unit commissioner and are now currently serving as chairman for district activities. Your leadership in organization and chairing the last 8 cubberies has made it such a success that although at the council level, you have served as a staff member on several powwows, Klondike derbies, Pinewood derbies, camporees, and Scoutaromas. You have also staffed for many years Cub Day Camp and Boy Scout Camp. You are a vigil member of the Order of the Arrow and a recipient of the District Award of Merit. You have served on the Boston community for years as a firefighter and are now involved in the Fairhaven community as a town party member. You are also active in the Fairhaven High School athletic program. You serve on the PTAs and Veterans Administration organizational activities. Your entire life has been committed to service to others both as a volunteer and a professional. Because of your significant contributions to Scouting and to your community, the Moby Dick Council is proud to present Silver Beaver Award to Jack Byrnes. Underwent surgery this morning in a Boston hospital, and he can't be with us here tonight. His grandson, Michael Joseph, will be accepting the award for him. When you come up to congratulate the recipients, I have a congratulations card. I'd like to have everyone sign it so we can get it to him. Thank you.
We have our benediction by Reverend George. Thank you.
The Lord be with you. Let us pray. O Lord God, we rejoice in the accomplishments and dedication of all our volunteers, our scouts and scout leaders, and we now invoke your continued blessing upon us. May God who created you, God who redeems you, God who sanctifies you, bless, preserve, and keep you in all you do, both now and forever. Amen.
That concludes our program for this evening. I thank all of you for coming and invite you all to come up and congratulate the new Silver Beaver recipients. Thank you.